5 News starts now with breaking news.
Because of their hard work and investigative skill, we were able to take a monster off the streets.
That breaking news continues here now on the 5 News at noon. After 5 days of searching, the manhunt is over. A suspect is now in custody, accused of the double murder at Devil's Den. Thank you for joining us. I'm Emily Moss. New at noon today, this is the latest mugshot of 28-year-old Andrew McGann. He was arrested around 5 o'clock at a business in Springdale. He's now being held on 2 charges of capital murder. Right now, we're learning that he was most recently a teacher in Sand Springs, Oklahoma. He was set to start at Springdale Public Schools this year. We have not learned any new information for what McGann's motive could have been. Our reporter, Kayla Davis, is gathering information right now from the neighborhood where McGann was living. She told us the neighbor saw a police presence at McGann's home for several hours last night. She'll have more for us today at 4. McGann is accused of killing 41-year-old Kristen Brink and 43-year-old Clinton Brink. The victims were hiking on a trail in the park with their 2 daughters. The children were not hurt during the attack and are safe with family members. We've also learned the family had recently moved to Prairie Grove. Clinton had transferred jobs from South Dakota, where he worked for Prairie Farms Dairy. He was set to start a new job this week, delivering milk in the Fayetteville area for Highland Dairy. 5 News reporter Jacob Luthi has been on the ground in Springdale for us today where the arrest took place. Let's go to him for the latest. Jacob.
It was right here at this beauty salon in Springdale where the Arkansas State Police say that just before 5 Wednesday evening, they arrested 28-year-old Andrew James McGann. This comes 5 days after he's alleged to have killed Clinton and Kristen Brink at Devil's Den State Park on Saturday. He now faces 2 counts of capital murder. Arkansas State Police Major Stacy Rhodes says specific details on how investigators tracked down McGann will be released at a later time. She says authorities are still working to determine a motive and are being careful not to release information too early as they focus on building a solid case for conviction. Rhodes confirms McGann had recently moved to Arkansas from Oklahoma and had secured a job at a local school. State police also credit the public's involvement as a key factor in McGann's capture. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders praised the coordinated effort, saying it took teamwork at every level to bring the suspect into custody.
The absolute tireless and heroic efforts of our law enforcement and the collaborative effort from every single level, from our city, our county, our state parks, our federal partners who have worked together to bring this person to justice.
Police say that the victims' 2 young children who were with them at the time of the attack are safe and with family. They also add that as of right now, there does not appear to be a connection between McGann and the victims. In Springdale, covering news where you live, Jacob Luthi, 5 News.
Thanks, Jacob. Arkansas State Police will be providing an update this afternoon. That press conference is set to start at 2 o'clock. You can watch the live stream and any latest developments as they come into our newsroom on 5 News Plus. To learn how to download it to your smart TV, just text the word plus to the number on the bottom of your screen. We'll have more of that breaking news coverage later on in the show, but right now, let's take a live look outside this afternoon. This is a shot coming for the Holiday Inn ICAM in Springdale. Let's check in with Danny Cassidy for more on the forecast, and I can hear a bit of rain here at the station.
Yes, very isolated pockets of rain are falling across northwest Arkansas, but for most of us, it's dry, and especially for the River Valley, it is hot and sunny. Feels like in the triple digits, pretty much area wide in the River Valley, only in the 70s in some parts of northwest Arkansas, upper 80s and around 90 there in Fayetteville. As we're seeing outside the window here, our station in Johnson, you can see that rain coming down. It was a lot heavier at one point, but again, it was a very strong downpour. We could hear it outside the station, and you can see it was very isolated just north of Fayetteville there. A little bit of some isolated rain as well as Carroll County, but most of us are staying dry. We'll zoom into that cell here in Carroll County first. You can see again some light to moderate rainfall there moving through Carroll County near Eureka Springs, continuing to move east towards Berryville. Not as heavy there, but you notice to the south here again, it was sitting just over the city of Johnson near northern Fayetteville, southern Springdale. Some very heavy rain there, a little bit moving through downtown Fayetteville now. So some of these cells are starting to pop off here as that cold front is now swung through the entire area, and you can see behind it a little bit along this line here. There's a little bit of a wet boundary here. More cells will start to fire off, and eventually will make its way southeast throughout the river valley. So that rain will especially increase in coverage, I think, as early as 3, 4 o'clock. I think will be the most widespread later this afternoon, this evening in northwest Arkansas. The river valley very quiet, but again, upping that rain chance for us later this afternoon, this evening, tapering off later tonight, but then more rounds will be possible tomorrow. So we'll go over the exact timing of this rainfall, and we'll see some relief coming up in your full forecast. Emily.
Thanks, Danny. Well, just into the newsroom right now, a retired Fayetteville math teacher was found guilty for rape of a child under the age of 14. Investigators say they received the report in 2024. The victims lived on the same street as Townsend and were given gifts and candy each time they visited. Townsend was sentenced to life in prison. Chief prosecuting attorney on the case, Dennis Dean, says, quote, "Sexual predators in this community will not be tolerated." He adds that he hopes that the victims can now have closure. President Trump has one more day to make trade deals ahead of his August 1st deadline for steeper tariffs. Already, some major companies say they will be forced to raise their prices. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
A last-minute scramble to make deals as Friday's tariff deadline looms, with talks still underway with big trading partners, including Mexico, Canada, and China.
We're moving along with China. We're doing fine with China. I think it's going to work out very well. We're right in step. I think we're going to have a very fair deal with China.
President Trump spoke with Mexico's president on the phone today and announced he's extending that country's current tariff rate another 90 days while negotiations continue. The Trump administration has reached agreements with several countries, including South Korea Wednesday, saying tariffs will be set at 15% on goods coming from that country, including cars and car parts, lower than what was previously threatened, but higher than the past.
A 15% rate, it sounds better than 25 or 50, but remember, if this really holds across all of these trading partners, this would be the highest tariff rate since the 1930s. So it is still significant.
The Fed chair, in announcing the committee's decision to hold interest rates steady Wednesday, cited uncertainty.
Higher tariffs have begun to show through more clearly to prices of some goods, but their overall effects on economic activity and inflation remain to be seen.
A new CBS News poll found views of the economy ticked up slightly, but shows most Americans expect prices to go up in coming months.
Right now, there's no inflation. Everybody thought there would be. All we have is billions of dollars of cash pouring into our country from other countries that took advantage of us for many, many years.
But economists say it's the companies importing the goods that pay the tax and often pass that along to the consumer. Procter & Gamble, a major maker of key household supplies, announced it's raising prices on a quarter of their products in response to tariffs impacting the supply chain. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
The administration says it is sticking to the Friday deadlines for almost all trading partners. China faces an August 12th deadline as part of the 90-day tariff truce negotiated in May. Federal funding will be returned to Brown University. The university has reached a $50 million deal with the Trump administration. The school will distribute that money over 10 years to workforce development programs in Rhode Island. In return, the federal government will reinstate frozen grants, restore funding eligibility, and end all ongoing investigations. As part of the agreement, Brown will scale back certain diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. Former Vice President Kamala Harris has announced she will not run for governor of California next year. The announcement ends months of speculation. The decision leaves the door open for Harris to potentially run for president again in 2028. It would be her third attempt at doing so after withdrawing from the 2020 race and losing to President Trump in November. Turning now to the war in Ukraine, with Russia unleashing a deadly attack on Ukraine's capital overnight. At least 8 people are dead, including a 6-year-old boy. The violence comes just days after President Trump tightened Russia's ceasefire deadline. CBS's Tina Kraus has more.
Russia hammered Kyiv with missiles and drones overnight, lighting up the sky over the Ukrainian capital. Residents waking up to the grim reality of more lives lost. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says Russia fired more than 300 drones and 8 missiles, striking homes, hospitals, and schools. Russian forces say they shot down 32 Ukrainian drones overnight. The violence comes days after President Trump gave Russian President Vladimir Putin an August 8th deadline.
But every time I think it's going to end, he He kills people.
To stop its invasion, now in its fourth year, or face tougher sanctions. The Kremlin says Russia has been under so many sanctions for so long, it's immune to them. Zelensky is urging allies to help push Putin out of power, saying if there's no regime change, Russia will go after another neighbor when this war ends. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
Western leaders have accused Putin of dragging his feet in U.S.-led peace efforts to buy time and seize more Ukrainian territory. Fayetteville City Council members may soon be required to show up in person for every meeting, following a new state law. Since COVID, council members have been able to participate in meetings virtually, including speaking and voting. But starting August 4th, a new law, Act 505, will end that option. The law requires elected officials to be physically present to be counted for a vote or quorum.
Some of them have children, people have health concerns at times. And this is going to place a greater burden on them to have to be here every single meeting to participate.
The law will still allow members of the public to participate remotely, but not city officials unless there is a declared state of emergency. The City Council is expected to repeal its current virtual attendance policy on August 5th.